Welcome back, folks. Nice to have you along. Right, so of course, as we promised you, today we would be catching up with Riefaat Jappie. He's an old friend of Cape Rugby TV. He's come through all the club rugby ranks, and I'm pretty sure that if you have ever watched rugby at collegians, you would have seen Riefaat on this side of the field. But he's been involved with Western Province Rugby from a strength and conditioning point of view now for quite a while. He's, of course, the strength and conditioning coach for the DHL Stormers. Now, Western Province Rugby has got World Rugby Level 1 strength and conditioning courses coming up. And we thought we would catch up with Riefaat a little bit to find out a little bit more about what it means to be a strength and conditioning coach. Riefaat, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. Nice to have you back.
I'm good, Jappie, man. Thanks, and you?
Not too bad. It's been a while. Of course, I think everybody's been waiting for rugby to get back into action. Of course, you guys have been busy now for quite a while. How does it feel to be constantly active?
Yeah, JP, it's good to be back out there, and we just wanting for more rugby to start opening up. We've been busy since last year, November, October, September we started, went right through December, January, and enjoying it. It's good to be back and slowly getting the crowds. So things are getting better, and hopefully the club rugby can start soon.
So that's one of the things that I suppose is a big positive for you guys, is that you've got some spectators back in the field, at least at the stadium. That must be quite nice for you guys and the players.
Yeah, it's very nice, JP. At the stairs were like the style of play actually changed. They took the field. They're so used to the crowd, the big crowds, and then when we starting back after lockdown with no crowds, it's been tough for guys to play with no crowds. And just with the fans being back in the stadium, it's makes a difference to the performance even of the team. Yeah.
Listen, one of the reasons we obviously wanted to speak to you today is that we know that Western Province Rugby is holding the World Rugby Level 1 strength and conditioning strength and conditioning course. In fact, this weekend. And there's been a lot of talk about encouraging more people to do the strength and conditioning course. So we would like to speak to you about what does it mean to be a strength and conditioning coach, or at least a strength and conditioning coach for a rugby team. Rugby has changed over the years. You've seen a team coaches back. Now we have backline coaches, forwards coaches, physios, everybody assigned. But strength and conditioning is an absolute key. Tell us a little bit about your job.
Yeah, JP, the strength conditioning is like the heart of the team. So he operates with, he does the whole planning of everything, putting everything actually together. So therefore, this course in specifically this level 1 SNC course, the IRB level 1, is not for anyone just doing the conditioning. So it gives coaches also a good idea to understand the conditioning part of the game. So our job basically is to link everything with the way we want to play, the way we want to in attack, defense, breakdown, how we want to. So it all starts with a game model firstly, and then from that game model we prepare in a certain way. So if you want to be a running team, you condition in the running side. And so we put the whole thing together. Coaches say what they want, and we put everything together. So mainly the reason for this course basically is to give coaches understanding why we as conditioning coaches will tell them only 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and how long we can go on the field, and how hard we can go, and to how low we must go on certain days. So that will give you understanding of and how to coach certain principles in conditioning. So our job basically puts everything together and making the team perform and be at the best on the weekend. Yeah.
So as a strength and conditioning coach, for example, at a club, because a lot of the coaches now, if they do this strength and conditioning course, they will become a strength and conditioning coach at their club. At the club itself, what are the details that a SNC coach would be looking at? I mean, would they, for example, be giving the players their training programs? Would they be working out the difference between strength and conditioning for forwards, strength and conditioning for backline players?
Yeah, so the basics is to start to see what your group where your group is at. So basically get a baseline. So if you had started your club, get a nice testing. If it's like you start any testing program with the fitness, if it's a running fitness, you do a baseline test, see where your guys at. If your guys are way off, you know where to start. You start a bit slower and then build it up nicely and see where your first friendly or first game is. So that's how do you decide how hard or how soft hard in your preseason. So basically, it starts with that initial testing to see where your squad is at, and then from that you design your program and how hard we can go immediately, and or how we can build it up into the season. Yeah.
Do you think it's a question now that club rugby has moved on so much that all clubs should have an SNC coach? Because the way that you're explaining it to me now, if I think about the club rugby environment and how much more advanced things are now than they were 10 years ago, it sounds to me that the difference in SNC means the difference potentially between winning and losing.
Exactly. There's a saying that goes, SNC won't win you the competition, but it can lose you the competition. So it all starts there. So it won't win you the thing, but you can lose it by not being conditioned. So it's an important part of the team. So I think especially with the teams having now bigger squads and everything for the management of players as well. And then it just helps tremendously for teams to perform week in, week out. Where certain teams, they start well, but then they fall off at the end of the season because that's purely not being conditioned to go the entire season. Yeah.
So Riefaat, a last question for you, because we've also been looking at it maybe from another angle. If we think about strength and conditioning coaches in outside of the rugby space, quite often one would look at it as in the personal trainers, the guys that are controlling the gym environment. They're teaching people how to gain weight, lose weight, get stronger, get fitter, get faster, and so on. So I've been looking at it from another perspective, thinking that anybody that does the strength and conditioning course could potentially be teaching people in their community some fitness classes after rugby or on other days. Is that feasible? Is that the kind of thing that a community SNC coach could do, be doing boot camp on the field?
Yes, definitely, JP. The course helps you tremendously. It actually helps you to actually coach and how to find out how to win certain individuals. So like you said, in the personal training perspective, so taking an individual, seeing what he can do right, what he can do wrong, and then how do you fix it as well. Yeah. So it's not knowing what to do, but how to perform the task that you want to do. Yeah.
Riefaat, we'll leave it at that. It's fantastic chatting with you. We can see that you are a strength and conditioning coach. We know that you are busy driving the Stormers bus at the moment, and it just goes to show that the SNC coach has got hands on absolutely everything. So we appreciate you taking the time. We know you've got the Lions this week, and it's so great to see you again. I know that I'm sure people from the call are going to be over the moon to see you on TV.
Likewise, JP. Thanks.
Thanks, Riefaat. There we go, folks. Riefaat Jappie. He's, of course, SNC coach at the DHL Stormers. Now, Western Province Rugby is hosting the World Rugby Level 1 Strength and Conditioning course. Do yourself a favor. Find out about the course and tell people at your club that they can do the course. It is a fantastic opportunity to get involved with rugby, especially if you like the world of fitness and strength and going to gym and doing conditioning. Because if you're a strength and conditioning coach, you don't only need to apply it to rugby. Yes, of course, that's your priority. You do SNC for your team, for your club, but you have an opportunity to take those skills and use it for yourself, maybe use it in the gym environment. And what a fantastic idea for you to offer boot camp or fitness classes to those in your community on your field. It's also a great way to make some extra income. So look out for the notifications, or you can put something on our Facebook and we'll happily give you more information of when the Western Province Rugby Strength and Conditioning courses are coming up. Because as we know, the world of rugby today is much more than one coach. There's the coach, the backline coach, the forwards coach, the physio, and of course, the SNC coach. We'll come back after the break. We'll talk more club rugby. Back in a sec.